What's up, people? IOBA. I'm TC, aka Johnny Clyde. Check this out right here. The other day I put up a video about Tim Scott, that old coon ass senator from South Carolina. I put up a video about him, and you know, I got to thinking some more about that shit and some other people who I run into daily. They got that kind of mindset. Um, Lady at my job, her name, I just call her Sandra. We was in there the other day, and we were having our job coaches meeting in the morning. And after we discussed all the serious business, what we're going to do with the young people, blah, 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 we started talking, back and forth, and our conversations got on politics. Now, I ain't the one to instigate an argument or a conversation about politics at work, because I know how I feel, and I know how most of the black people down here also feel. Most of the black people down here are Democrats, or on this side of town anyway, are Democrats, and most of them are afraid of Donald Trump. And so is this lady, Sandra. So, we started talking about the election, and she still think, I don't know why the fuck she think I'm gonna vote for Donald Trump. Oh, I do know why. Because one day she asked me if I had a choice of only Donald Trump or Joe Biden, which one would I pick? And she, pinned me down, and those were the only two choices she gave me. So rather than say Joe Biden, who I'm not gonna vote for, I said Donald Trump because, and I gave her the reasons. If you want to know why, if those were the only two choices I had, and they're not the only two choices I have, but if they were, I mean, you got a gun to my head now, I would have to go with Trump as opposed to Joe Biden. Why? Okay, I said this shit a bunch of times. I would, if I had to vote for that motherfucker, it would only be because my people benefit from administrations, cold, hard administrations like the Republicans like to run. I feel it make my people stronger. That's why. I feel when Republicans are in charge, my people get stronger and more united. I said this a bunch of fucking times. And having a Republican in the White House or in a Republican administration lets our people know that the white boys are serious. Now, here's the problem with motherfuckers like Tim Scott, though. He think them white people like him. They don't. White people don't like nobody. No, white people don't like black people who act like that. They'll use the shit out of them, but they don't like black people who act like that. Especially guys like Donald Trump from New York. I used to work out with them motherfuckers. Right? And it was me and another bodybuilder from across town. And the other bodybuilder, he was like Tim Scott. He thought them white people loved him. He really did. And back then, I was then what I am now. I was pro-black. I wore my pro-black shit, and I talked my pro-black talk. Even back then when I was competing. When I had a piece of music on to pose to, it was a black song. I didn't fuck around. That was just how it was. Ziggy just took off. So anyway, when my buddy from across town got in an argument with the white boys, they called him all kinds of niggas. He was all kinds of, I don't care how much bootlicking he had done up to that point. He instantly became all kinds of niggas in the eyes of the white boys who he thought was his friends. And not only that, I've heard him say a bunch of times that You can't trust a black person who ain't got no black friends. You can't trust a black. This is a white dude saying this. You can't trust a black person who ain't got no black friends. And that was Cornell. Oh, I said his name. Whatever. I ain't said his last name. But anyway, that was him. And that's the way Tim Scott is. And that's the way a lot of these silly ass Republicans who have turned into something other than themselves to please their white paymasters. They don't like y'all. They just use you. Now I can understand it if you know that's the game and you playing it like that and you getting paid and you lining your pockets, but you ain't got to be a straight suck up. You can have a little bit of a spine, a little bit of a backbone, but no, they can't, because then they wouldn't be accepted. So where the black Republicans at with a backbone? The black Republicans who understand that them white people really don't like you. You may agree with their policies and the way they run their administration and all of that, but just know, in the eyes of most white Republicans, black Republicans is just niggas with a little bit of, who think like they do. Niggas who think like they do. So don't ever get to thinking, black Republicans, that you've been accepted, because you're not. Not really. Not really. I was in the room there Sunday night. I was in the room Sunday night with a bunch of people who was afraid of Donald Trump. My wife and I went out to dinner the other night. It was a room full of people. It was a weird mix, though. You know what I mean? There was men from maybe 4 different countries in that room that night. What a conversation we could have had. I mean, there was a guy from Haiti. There was 2 guys from Haiti. There was a guy from South Africa. There was a guy from Trinidad and Tobago. There was a guy from Panama. There was me and my other buddy. He was from the U.S. And we had our wives with us. And conversation started shifting a little bit towards politics, just a little bit. It didn't go too deeply in it because it was a birthday party. But everybody in the room was dead ass scared of Donald Trump being put back in the White House, except for me and the other American brother. Except for me and the other American brother, who happened to be of like-minded. I mean, he was a woke brother like me. And I mean woke the way we mean it, not the way the white people mean it. So before the conversation could get too deep, the hostess calmed everybody down and got the subject matter back onto dude's birthday and off of politics. But what got me was how afraid they were. And I did get a chance to tell them, though. I did get a chance to say to them man, don't be afraid of having Donald Trump in the White House. I said, first, he was in there. We survived 4 years of his crazy ass before. And I said, second, all that's going to happen is the whole damn Congress going to be, you're going to have a Democratic Congress, you're going to have him in the White House, and you're going to have the same paralysis that you got now. I said, he might have to do some executive orders and shit like that, but do you really think that Donald Trump is being allowed to actually run the country? No, he is not. No. He's a figurehead sitting at the head of a corporation run by a goddamn board of directors called the U.S. Congress or his cabinet or whatever. But it ain't him. He gets to call himself president. I guess, all that power and shit, it go to his head, but whatever. You get to do one thing during your presidency to mark your presidency, and then, you just sit down and shut up for the rest of your 4 years because he can't, Of course, he can't be president again. Should he win this time, as opposed to go to jail. So anyway, I was telling him that, and I hope I calmed him down. But yeah, they're all gonna vote for Joe Biden probably. But I just said ain't nothing to worry about. What we need to be worried about is all these damn wars that we keep getting into, that he keep putting us into. That's not going to stop under Donald Trump or anybody else. We need to be trying to do that. We need to be trying to talk about reparations as far as the black vote goes. Reparations as far as the black vote goes. We got to stay on that. We got to ride that shit to the end. We got to keep sticking that in their face. We really do. And there's got to be cash payments. So I had that conversation with the lady at my work. She said she was tired of hearing about reparations. I'm so tired of hearing about that shit. Yeah, that's what I was talking about earlier when we was having our morning meeting. Sandra said that she was tired of hearing about reparations. That's where I was going. I went off a little bit, but I'm back. Sandra said she was tired of hearing about reparations. And again, I had to explain to her. She said, it's like she just heard that there's a reparations push going on because she got all the old shit that we debunked and talked about back in 2016, 2015. Like, who is owed reparations? How are they going to figure out who gets reparations and who doesn't? Where is the money going to come from? All that shit been solved. All that stuff been talked about. You know what I mean? The question now is what president has the balls to actually do it, to actually get reparations for black people. What president has the balls to actually do it? And so far, none. So ain't nobody promising us shit. And besides, Donald Trump, voting for Donald Trump ain't promised black people nothing. He ain't reached out to the black community, not that I've heard about, and said he gonna do anything for black people. He ain't even say he gonna do anything for anybody. I guess you have to go to the website to find out what his policy is, but it's straight Republican down the line. Tax cuts for the rich, more war, more oil drilling and fossil fuel subsidies and all of that bullshit that been going on. If he get his way, and you'll get the Democrats pushing back the other way, and it'll just stay in the same fucking course, and the United States will just keep creeping on while the rest of the world goes on into the 21st century. You see, that's how that's going to play out. But anyway, I just wanted to hit y'all back. Yes, you find your motherfucking black Republican, just let them know they don't love you. They really don't love you. And reparations is something that you fight for and you fight for and you fight for until it comes to fruition. It's a marathon, not a sprint. They got to know that. We've been saying that all along. So people who talking that shit, hit them with that. That's it for now, y'all. I'm gonna go in here and work on this piece of art and finish up my night and get ready for the next one. Y'all don't forget to thank you to all the new subscribers. I really appreciate it. I'm trying to get to that 500 mark. Actually, I'm trying to get to that 1,000 mark, but I'm trying to get to that 500 mark for now, and see if I can get my opinions out there. You know what I'm saying? Anyway, y'all take care. Y'all have a good night. TC. And I'm out. Peace.